Are you thinking about an Alaska cruise and you're wondering, gee, should I do an inside cabin? Should I do a balcony? Everyone says I should do a balcony.
You absolutely should, right?
But they're so expensive. Well, we've sailed on many different cruise lines, and we've sailed Alaska many times, and we always got a balcony.
We absolutely did, because that's what everyone says you have to do. You have to do Alaska on a balcony. You got to be able to get outside and see all those sights.
We booked an inside cabin just for you. We're going to do this whole entire video on what is it like to live in an inside cabin. Let's go look at an inside cabin sailing Alaska.
You got to pick your pool, yeah. That way.
Come on, let's go. This is a 7-day series of the Star Princess in Alaska. This is day 1.
We made it into our room. Take a look around. Yes, we're in an inside room. And right behind me, that's going to become our new best friend. Why?
That's our window.
That's our window. That becomes our window for the next 7 days. That gives us an insight as to, do we need to get our clothes on and bundle up and get out on deck really quick? Probably yes.
Hey, Andrea, what the heck are you doing over there?
Well, I'm doing something really important. And whether you're staying in an inside cabin or a balcony, this is something that you should do. But definitely if you're going to be in an inside cabin. So let's take a look. The first thing you want to get familiar with is the documentation that's in your stateroom. First thing is, if you have ordered any shore excursions through Princess, they will have arrived for you, most likely. I always suggest looking them over and making sure that you have all the things that you need. It has happened to me once before where they didn't print it. So just check that. In addition, you'll get things like a paper here which tell you all the dining options, whether they're specialty dining, casual dining, or part of your cruise fare.
Make sure you check out our ship tours as well on the Star Princess.
This time they happen to be promoting Spellbound, which is an experience. This is also a really fun thing to do. If you'd like to see what it looks like, we do have a video on this as well.
Make sure you check out our video on Spellbound.
Okay, all that aside, really what I wanted to talk to you about is your Princess Patter. So this is your daily itinerary of what's going to happen, and you get it the night before. So the first day that you arrive, it's in your stateroom, and there's a couple little things about it that are really important to know. On the back, if you want to know any of the opening times for any of the venues, they're on the back. In addition, on the first day, this is really cool. Right down in this section here is a little itinerary of the ports that you're going to be visiting. And this is why I think this is really important for an inside cabin. It tells you what time you're going to be at each port. And that gives you a little bit of a clue as to how you're going to plan out your day. Because, like I said before, staying in an inside room just requires some planning so you don't miss all the really cool sights. Everything in the middle tells you the times at which you're going to be doing things. So if there is going to be like a glacier day, time the viewing typically happens, if there's a port talk from one of the presenters or the naturalists on board, it's going to be in here. And that's really important, especially if it's something that you're interested in. Get familiar with your Princess Patter app. So this is really great, like I said, for knowing what the itinerary is, but on the app, you can do it days in advance. And in fact, what you can do is you can put hearts next to the things that you want to be reminded of. And that's really key, again, for planning out your itinerary. The last thing that you really want to get familiar with is your stateroom TV, because in an inside cabin, this is going to be the only clue you have as to what it looks like outside and what you're headed into. So let's take a look at the TV. This really big TV. And so you can see that there are 2 profiles here. So I'm just going to go through and show you how we find the information that I was talking about. So let's pick my profile. And once we're in here on the left-hand side, these are all the things that we're going to go to. Our home page has the wake show, some navigation. Let's mute this so we don't have sound. But really where you want to go is all the way over to this navigation. It'll tell you where you are and the temperature and the time. Because if you're in a port where the time changes, you may not see that. So that's important right there. But the other important information is actually things like the weather or the location. So let's go to location really quickly and just show you what that screen looks like. So this tells you really where we are. You can actually zoom in on this a little bit, and it tells us we're right here in Seattle to start. And every day this is going to change, and it's going to show you when you're in Ketchikan, Juneau, Skagway, and Victoria, and then finally back in Seattle. Really what I wanted to show you is this. This is your bridge cam. This is really what I wanted to show you because it is your visual as to the outside world. And right now we are still in Seattle. We are at port, and you can see that, and it's a nice sunny day out there. At least it gives you a little bit of an insight as to, are you coming into a glacier viewing area? Are you turning around, or are you in rain or nightfall? So this is a great view.
We're going to show you some observation areas. I'm on deck 15 right now, and so is Andrea. There's deck 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, and 16 in the very back of the ship. So if you happen to be in an inside cabin on any of those decks, take a walk out to the back of the ship. You might be out there all by yourself looking at beautiful views off the back of the ship. And you can access this both on the starboard side and the port side very easily. And look at that, that's a Space Needle out there, isn't it?
It is.
Let's keep walking around the ship. We're going to show you the glass elevator. We're on deck 15.
These are the signature suites here.
Yeah, signature suites right here. Look at the glass elevator. Nice. We're heading down to deck. You should put on deck. Oh, deck 9 is the
Lido deck.
The Lido deck. Deck 9's Lido deck.
The eatery.
Look at that. And that's deck 8 right there.
Deck 9.
But we're getting off on deck 9. We're going to get something to eat. But that's a nice place to go. Deck 8. Oh, these are masterpieces you got here. I'll tell you one thing. Being an inside cabin makes you thirsty. What do you got in there?
Well, I'm not giving you mine. You can have a Sprite.
You got a beer in there? Or you got anything like that? What's that thing on the door right there?
No, these are the rosé things. I want to swap those out.
Give me a Diet Coke.
You gonna drink a Diet Coke?
Should I not drink a Diet Coke?
I would swap a Diet Coke for a regular Coke.
Okay.
You drink a Sprite. That's what you like. So.
But I drink the Sprite with wine.
But you don't have any wine.
I know. So.
And you're not getting any wine.
Oh, okay. Can I have what's in there?
A Sprite?
I guess I got to get off the bed and see what's in there. I don't want a Sprite. Give me one of those what do they call those things right there?
Corona?
No, those things right there.
No.
What do you mean? I like those.
You're not drinking one yet.
Those are what do they call those there?
No, the Betty Boos.
Betty Boos, that's it.
You're not
Betty, give me a Betty Boo.
No.
Oh, jeez.
You don't get to have alcohol just yet.
There's another problem that you need to worry about in an inside cabin. It's very frequent that we can have debates, and sometimes they can get really loud. And it may happen with other people when they're confined to these rooms without windows. And you ask for a Betty Boo?
It's a Betty Boos.
It is a Betty Boos. So I'm glad you pointed that out about the inside cabin. That's going to be our window for the next 7 days. But we got more. We got more to show you. Well, I guess we had our debate. Look what I'm drinking. Sprite. But I'll tell you one thing. We're waiting for the ship to pull away. I'm looking at our TV, which is our window for 7 days. And when we see that ship starting to pull away, let's go out and check out the sail away. Right, Andrea?
Right.
All right.
So Michael's taken to the relax on the pillow.
I'm tired. You get inside an inside room, you get tired too. You know, there's nothing to look at except 4 walls, and you're like, oh, I'm tired. And you drink Sprite. Andrea, let's go. Let's go for the sail away. Oh, they look like there were cops right here. They disappear. But I hear the music. This cabin, you can hear the music for sure. But let's go. Let's head out there. I don't know if you can hear it, but we can hear it. Music? It's loud.
You can't hear it out here in the hallway.
You can't?
Not as much.
You know what I heard about this? This
What?
is the crew area.
Exactly.
And they have a disco right underneath here. We're on deck 10. And deck 11 have observation decks. It's windy here, but we're trying to scope out our Alaska spot. Is this our Alaska thing?
No. I think you want to be a little higher.
Andrea says we want to be higher.
But we could. I mean, we definitely, with our floor. Nice about it. But it was a long walk. I thought it was going to be shorter.
No, we're in the middle of the ship. A spare anchor, and there's a spare chain right there. Let's go up higher.
You gotta go back in too much.
No, you can't get there from here. No, you gotta go back in. Look at that Space Needle right there. Woohoo!
Between the berth at the end of Watafuka Strait is 125 nautical miles. Watafuka is a wide body of water that connects the Pacific Ocean to the inland waters of the Pacific Northwest. It forms part of the natural border between the United States and British Columbia, separating Washington from Vancouver Island. The strait is an important shipping route leading to major ports like Seattle and Vancouver, and is also known for its strong currents, rich marine life, and frequent whale sightings. The distance to Ketchikan, our first port of call, is 658 nautical miles, 757 land miles. As a reminder, when we're at sea, ship movement and changing weather conditions may occur at any time. Please take care when moving around the ship, use handrails in corridors and staircases when provided, and watch out for wet or slippery decks. And be careful when opening outside doors, as they may be affected by strong winds. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for now. Please do enjoy the sail away.
We're on the observation deck 11, and we're gonna check out the Star Princess backing all the way up into the bay here, and then heading right out. It's gonna be pretty cool, but it's kind of like a private setting up here. You can see everybody on deck 8. I like deck 8. We were on the inaugural on this ship from Europe to the U.S. We love this ship, beautiful ship. But look at that. That's just it's a real pretty sight. You got Seattle skyline, and then you've got Mount Rainier, and then you got this yacht sitting right out there. All day that yacht's been there. Oh, we're backing up. You can see it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of these Alaska series videos. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And we encourage all the comments, all the questions. We respond to all of them. Looking for those whales. We're the professional whale watcher for the Hubbards journey, and I'm sitting in as a substitute. I'm not a very good whale watcher substitute. It's chilly out, and the coffee gets cold real quick. So those guys paid for a balcony up there, and we're sitting down here in our own private, semi-private, public, like all public viewing area. Oh man. But we're gonna look for some wildlife. We're gonna find some. They say it's pretty common to see wildlife coming through here, coming through these straits. Yeah, I'm a little chilly. Check out what we're looking at.
Pacific waters around Alaska and reach peak around July. But to start that migration.
That's the naturalist talking. You see the whale out there? There she blows, Captain. Over there. There she blows. Andrea, let's walk across the glass bridge. There it is. Look down below. Oh boy. All right, it's day one, and we should have a discussion for our viewers what to expect in an inside cabin.
So an inside cabin in general?
I'm going to start this off in general. Number one thing that I realize when I'm in an inside cabin, I could possibly sleep the day away.
That's true. Very true.
I could sleep the day away because it's dark. There are no windows. 0 windows, and if you don't hear any noise, which typically you don't in an inside cabin.
That's true. Yeah, I agree. So one of the things that I do because of that, because I don't like really waking up to this loud sounding alarm, I have an app on my phone. And what does it do? It slowly raises the sound level of chirping birds, and it slowly raises a glowing light. It almost like mimics a sunrise. So I get a little bit of light and a little bit of sound to gently wake me up.
You basically came up with that from us being in an inside cabin. She's like, I gotta come up with something.
I gotta find something
that's gonna wake up, give me some light, and maybe give me a little birds chirping. And that's actually pretty helpful in an inside cabin. The other thing with an inside cabin, you could be missing out on all kinds of stuff because you can't really see anything. Very seldom you hear anything unless it comes through the cabin or you can hear it faintly in the hallway.
And it's really important to know where you're going. Not when you're going in the Caribbean or maybe on a transatlantic, but when you're coming to Alaska, you really want to see what's happening outside because really the shoreline could be pretty close by.
There could be wildlife out there, there could be anything. And even if you have a balcony, it doesn't mean that wildlife is on your side of the ship. So there's no guarantee that you're going to see wildlife if you're on a balcony either. However, what we do is we put the TV on. I can roll over and look and say, that's what's going on outside. That's what time it is. Oh, what is it, sea day today? Obviously, we're going to Ketchikan for our first stop. And we should have a plan on what we're doing in Ketchikan. That's a whole nother video right there. Andrea, if you're in an inside cabin, don't you feel like you should be out and about all the time as opposed to being in a balcony cabin?
Well, that is absolutely true.
Because when you're in an inside cabin, you're looking at four walls. When you're on a balcony, you can go hang out on your balcony. So on an inside cabin, you're more apt to get out and go walk around and explore the ship.
So for me, an inside cabin really is a place to sleep.
When you book an inside cabin, it's really not made for, checking things out outside. It's really made for sleep. In an inside cabin, we find ourselves saying, okay, what do we got going on today? Let's go do something. You agree with that?
Well, I definitely agree with that.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss episode 2 of our 7-day series, Sailing Alaska on the Star Princess. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching, but there's more to explore.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button
so you never miss any adventures.
Click on one of these videos to keep the journey going.
And this is where I say ciao for now.
We'll see you soon.